Dawntrail! Another 2 years passed, another expansion. So many things happening and being so busy with work and whatnot, the big announcement was happening. I knew I needed to watch. Like many other internet people, I knew I could not simply let my reaction to this new, expansive adventure fly by. What a moment! An absolute spectacle that I wanted to share with everyone else experiencing this momentous moment. All of the Final Fantasy XIV world in their simultaneous hype. I sit in a fancy room far away from home, recording this momentous moment. The trailer appears, and I see a new world with Masayoshi Soken's composing a J-Rock style bumping us along on our merry adventure. Meteor upon a boat sailing away. Ah, freedom. Like those times I had experienced with the best Assassin's Creed game. And still is today, by the way. I see places I've never been, faces I've come to know, new and old, and a brief look at an unnamed class. And then, the trailer ends. My first thoughts and my first words. That's it? I have been playing Final Fantasy XIV since the dawn of Realm Reborn. Created and played on the PS3 and then PS4 and onwards. I remember farming Crystal Tower raids when they were current content, pining for a full set of Sila's robes of healing. Taking a break, I returned late Heavensward, which put me right back to the place I love to be. And at that point on, I rarely switched off Dark Knight. Cecil is like literally one of the coolest fucking Final Fantasy characters of all time, just saying. I was hyped from Stormblood. The trailer and cinematic were unbelievable. A story of rebellion, featuring the ever-elusive samurai class and much more. I was one of many who stupidly lined up for Raban, clicking him for 8 hours until I broke through and found myself in an empty, current patch Kugane. And I know a lot of you might not agree with this, but I thought Stormblood was awesome. I thought it was a great expansion. I enjoyed Stormblood. Shadowbringers, shivers down my spine. A roller coaster of emotions through 60 hours, give or take, of gameplay. Things haven't felt this raw in a while. A brilliant variety of worlds and multiverses we're only becoming privy to. Endwalker! Alright man, look, there's probably some bias here because like I said, this guy is one of my favorite characters of all time. This guy's fucking cool, man. So when we're on the moon being a badass paladin, just like boom, blah, blah from the lead up of the pre-patch on God, brother, for real, dead ass. These past two expansions especially were absolute keynote to me. Raid and extended content, it just all felt like it was there. That's not to say they were perfect, nor has any expansion really been perfect, but overall I had been genuinely satiated and satisfied. I mean, you might know already if you saw everything I had time to post from Endwalker pre-life things. And I know all these people didn't like Endwalker later on. I'm just not one of those people. Sorry. And it's kind of the same boat as like Stormblood. But hey, we all know they'll be back anyway. Which brings me back to Dawntrail. I couldn't upload a reaction of me saying, "That's it?" I had no words. Imagine that though, would have been kind of funny. I thought it brilliant and cool, but just not what I've come to expect with our beloved series so far. A new journey! No more Asians. Now a merry little adventurer. And a godlike one at that, like literally level 100, how sick is that? Suddenly looking a little more real in this literal new world. Dawntrail's a new beginning in a lot of ways. And finally, an actual real new beginning beyond the big 100. All in all, feels fitting to celebrate being 10 years old and all that too. So then why do I not feel as excited? The lead up to Endwalker and in post had us tying up even more loose ends, some stretching us all the way back to the first. In the post game, our once warrior, light now adventurer, I'm still getting used to this by the way, is tasked with digging into the wonders of the world by an old friend, where we happen to stumble upon a skeleton in Varshan's closet. And he's all like, okay, hey, listen, my older sister is trapped in the void or whatever. It happens, so I've been trying to find a way. So we do what anyone would do. Throw ourselves across parallel worlds and go find her. We meet this guy who's all mad, and then he kind of gets less mad later, but before he's less mad, he goes and turns Varshan's sister into Zeramus. Come on, dude, what the fuck? You can't just be so pissed off that you'd be willing to create a demigod of etheric imbalance to save your world. Anyways, we're figuring this one out. To be continued. Now, I know you're gonna say, but Gobs, we were told many times that the post-game and Dawntrail pre-patch won't really count toward much of Dawntrail. I know, but I can't help but to feel like we built ourselves up to be left on a cliffhanger for the next big adventure. We go from so sick, big red moon, wowee, I love Final Fantasy IV, to hey, let's go on another little adventure, how about it would be fun, man. Hell yeah. But that's what happened. I have to nearly scrub my mind of what occurred. From the Golbaz arc to Anabasos journey with Lahabred, I just need to leave it there. That's just what it is. This is new in the Final Fantasy XIV arc. I recall every pre-patch leading to expansions really giving us a hint of what'll happen next, and right now it's not that. And that's okay. That's it? In response to the Dawntrail trailer, yep, that's it. And that's okay. Now look, normally, as you can see here, I'd be like, game bad, blah, blah. But if there's anything these writers have taught me by now, it's that they're privy to playing some 4D chess, even if it isn't blatantly apparent. To them, even. And in retrospect, while I'm startled by a sudden new direction, I know we're gonna have to eventually address this void stuff. We're gonna have to figure it out. We're going to have to revisit this story, all while completely forgetting it, and only to then applaud it later. Am I coping? Maybe. Probably. And by this point, the next live letter happens, the trailer gets expanded upon. Yippee! Looks cooler, sounds cooler, and hey, check this shit out. Oh, you thought this was Corsair, some sort of a pirate class? Ha! Guess again. You're right, but instead it's called Viper. What? And you look like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but with 2 swords that consistently do snake things. Makes sense. Or so you thought. Think again. Look how now it's a twin blade. Darth Maul, anyone? Darth Maul meets Kirito, baby? Hell yeah. Attack on Titan, anyone? And yeah, yes, these guys are kind of cool too, I guess. Looks cool, seems cool. Geared my ninja for this one because we all know this will be the scouting gear pal. Hey, also there was the person with the hat and the paintbrush. Haha, cool. Love a creative game. Hey, if you ever wanted to play that one painting boss from Kirby 64? Boom! Pictomancer. Paint stuff, kill shit, burn things. Woohoo! So incredibly dastardly, disgustingly violent with the cute little Yu-Gi-Oh! Toon magician looking pictures. I am become the destroyer of worlds. The god of death. I still can't help but to wish the blue mage was a real class. I would love if you could like set it up with specific restrictions and kind of just play it, but yet it's still Beastmaster. Limited job number 2. You thought maybe we'd figure out the whole limited job ordeal? Guess again. Now you're gonna be playing Pokemon in Final Fantasy XIV and capturing all sorts of beasts and critters. Maybe we'll even give you a gun. All right, sure. I'll play it. And I know I'll hate that I love it. I just know that. New zones. Wowee. These look cool. I love returning to a traditional Final Fantasy setting. And what in the goddamn Namura is this? Oh, good lord, we're going back. Call it forward and back, and then go forward and back again. And finally, the Job Actions trailer. I had waited to enjoy this with my stream to relive the hype as I once did in Endwalker and Shadowbringers. In the past, the kits felt like a whole new set of things to press. I felt like I'd traditionally watch each class all the way through thinking, very cool, can't wait to play it. In the Dawn trailer, and I unintentionally wrote that by accident, but I'm gonna keep it in, that's kind of clever. The Job Actions trailer features fancy new AoEs and things popping off, then this guy deciding to, for the first time ever, pick up his ley lines and move them. Disgusting. An absolute abomination. And the Mad Lads finally did it. I frickin' love it. But the rest still feels familiar. Like the Dawntrail teaser, I thought, that's it? I'm not really sure what I was expecting, but it felt more lackluster than it had been before. Machinist gets another new fancy toy, Warrior becoming more like Titan in every level, Dancer gets Akmorn, and Monk gets a spicier fireball. For the most part, I watched the Job Action trailer and the many rotations and thought, yeah, that's what I would've did. Except for one thing. When I was a wee little newbie in Final Fantasy XIV, I loved the concept of a book as a weapon. Grimoires in the Tactics series just seemed so cool to me. At the time, I was a sociopath and chose to play a Lalafell since it felt the most mage-like and sociopathic. Still is. I adventured through Eorzea gleefully with my little companion and settled on becoming a scholar. Stinky white mages and their stinky staffs. Books are way freaking cooler. And I look way smarter. I remember cleric stance and PvP and all the fun, stupid things Scholar could do at the time. And over time, I would forget my ways. I also laughed when they walked a little faster at Endwalker with this ability, as we all did, only to realize, hey, that's actually really good. Yeah, that's what I would have did, I claimed, through many of these classes being an Omni 90. But then, Scholar! Angelic transformation! Is this just a Reaper healer now? What the hell? I love Scholar now. Dawntrail! A beautiful new experience to the Final Fantasy XIV journey. As the date draws closer, and with each live letter, I'm a little more excited for my next big adventure. Since my original disappointment with the teaser, I had only been trying to keep track of the big new beats of the upcoming expansion. So much so, I didn't even touch the benchmark till this past week, where I finally made a cat mommy. But I think it'd be a little strange to call, this preset mommy in any sort of way, so we'll pretend I didn't. I didn't mean to like make Pikachu, it just kind of happened. So it just seemed fitting. Like there's the yellow fur and then the, you know what, whatever. Lots of new journeys to happen, many more to come, and I know we're gonna eventually get flipped upside down all over again, only to find out that this was another great expansion. How great though? Time will tell, but I think we're gonna be alright, and we're gonna have some fun.